Hey guys, it's StudioR12 Live with Lena, and I'm so excited about today's project. I've got some really cool farmhouse colors for you, some distressing techniques, some palette knife using. I'm really excited, and it's time to get started. Hey guys, I'm so glad you stayed tuned. I'm so excited about today's project and about all the cool giveaways we're gonna have. I have 3 brush sets to give away, so if you want to be entered to win these brush sets that are absolutely critical to creating great stenciled projects every time, right? I have 3 of them to give away. Be sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing to be entered. And then at the end of the video, we're gonna have a grand prize announced as well. So if you'd like to be entered to win that one, be sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing on this video as well. And I just want to say thanks for hopping on today. I'm really excited to be here with you guys, especially about this project. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Just for a fun background, while I'm getting some things out here, this is one of the first ever projects I painted here with StudioR12. This completed project that we have today. It was one of the most fun projects I think I have in my memories of doing here. And I was just in love with it and the way it turned out. And we were choosing this week's project. This one really just stood out to me. I thought I should really share with you some of the origins of my beginning with StudioR12. So that is this clock, and I'm so excited about that. This clock stencil, or this clock surface, is available on our website at StudioR12.com. And everything I'm using here today, with the exception of any of the with these 2 min waxes, not any of them, but the min waxes you can get on our website. There should be a link in the comments for that. So if you want to check that out, just click the link and it'll take you to a page with everything we're using in this week's live, okay? All right, let's get started. I went ahead and based this board just white. And if you can look, I didn't really base it true. I left a lot of the MDF kind of underneath. I kind of cheated just a little bit. When you're doing a project that you're going to take down to the wood, you want to cheat on that as much as possible, okay? All right, so I'm going to sand it down really quick one time. Just real quick. Since we're doing farmhouse, who here likes farmhouse style stuff? If you are a farmhouse girl, gotta hold on to this, or guy, say so in the comments. And remember, with our lives, we have someone here answering your questions live. That is Noelle. So be sure you say hi to Noelle. And if you guys say really buzzing in the comments, if you're being really active, sometimes Noelle even needs help and Patty hops up. So, all right. So we buffed that so it's not so solid. Okay, that was fun. This is how I created this right here. Before I move on to what I did, I'm gonna just skip ahead here a little bit. I'm gonna show you this next step. This is where I'm gonna show you the stencil process. So if you're new, I am gonna show you how to stencil today as well, along with creating backgrounds. This is a slatted board that we also have on StudioR12.com. It is gorgeous. I love the slats. Patty prepped this board for me when I was out yesterday so that I would have it ready for my live, and she actually did it differently than what I did for my original. So I thought I would kind of talk to you about the differences and how you can do that. For what I'm gonna do, we're gonna use some wet sanding and we're gonna use a palette knife, and it's gonna be really cool. What Patty did was also really cool and super smart and something I actually didn't know about, so I got to learn something this week too. So what she did was she took the Clapham's beeswax here, and she went ahead and just rubbed a little beeswax everywhere she wanted the paint to fall off. Really big, okay? So she just tucked it in there in a few places. You don't wax the whole surface. You just kind of take your finger and you just kind of put it where you want it, and then you paint over top of it, and then when you're done and you sand, it flakes off everywhere the wax was. So that was just super cool. I thought I would share that with you, that we did these a little differently, but this still turned out beautiful. She also used warmer colors than I did, but I still think this is gorgeous. So just for fun, you can just see the differences in some of the stuff we have here. All right, I'm gonna get my paint. Here we go. I'm gonna grab a white in case I need an eraser. Grab this gray, a cream, and a brown. Okay. So now I'm gonna take this cream color I have here, and I'm using acrylic paint today. And throwing a foam brush at you. I am really excited about this project. What was the first thing you ever stenciled? Do you remember? This isn't the first project I ever stenciled, but it's one of the first ones I ever did here with StudioR12. So if you remember what the first project you ever did was, tell us in the comments. Bonus points if you used one of our stencils. Okay, so if you can see here, I'm kind of skipping places. I'm just kind of getting some tone on here, so I'm just warming it up a little bit. I'm not covering. I'm pulling from my edge so I get some runs. Lots of things going on here. Also, if you're just hopping on, in case you were a little late today, we are doing some giveaways as usual in our lives. I have 3 brush sets to give away. And those are probably one of the best things we could be giving to you because they're really an essential tool. So if you haven't won one yet, be sure you like, share, and comment to be entered to win. Or if you have won one and you want to win another one. But be sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing so you can be entered to win our giveaways. And then I'm going to have a grand prize that I will announce at the end. All right, now I'm going to work with this board when it's wet. Some of that messy paint blending stuff that happens, it's exactly what I want, okay? Now, I'm going to take a peek at this. I didn't use very much gray, did I? I do not have the exact right color that I want for whatever reason. I'm out of it here in my paint drawer. So I'm taking the cream that I just used and a little bit of this kind of milk chocolate. It's probably even a little lighter than that. But this brown here, I'm just gonna mix it here with my palette knife. And it's okay if the tone's not perfect. I'm just kind of, since I have something prepped already. And I have a beautiful finished project. Okay. Okay, now, I have not done this technique in so long. So we're gonna just bear with it together. So I picked up some paint here on my palette knife. Not a lot, it's not like gloopy or anything, it is on that one side here. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna lay it parallel and just drag. This is one of my favorite techniques. This is one of the things I first learned how to do when I was really learning how to warm up backgrounds. And I'll tell you, it took me, not that it's that complicated, I don't want to make it sound like you can't do it at home, because really you can, but it did take me lots of practice until I got what I liked. Okay, and I'm even using, you're not supposed to have so much motion a lot of the time, but I'm pulling a little bit because I want some of those pulls. And then I want a couple bricks of it. Like that. Love the palette knife. Do that. All the fun things you can do with it. And if you can see where it wasn't mixed perfect, you can kind of see right there where I hadn't like really mixed. I'm getting some cream kind of coming through that, which is cool. Ooh. I have what they call a paint booger in this paint. It's not going to squirt out nicely. It's going to squirt all over me. Not today. Okay. Let's try again. No, it's insisting on it. Ah, okay, we did it. That was a little scary. All right, I'm gonna rinse this off and wipe it off here on a paper towel so I can go in with the gray. And I'm not gonna do as much gray, I just did a little bit. And so if you can see, if you saw how I did that, I'm just tapping in the paint. I have too much, so I'm gonna tap off. So it's just a little scooch of paint there. And I'm running it over, and I'm running it over the same places I laid that brown. And they're catching each other. So cool, so pretty. Okay. I'm gonna go in and do some white. This is when you just get to play. Using techniques like this, where you're using this palette knife, you're kind of mixing colors, you're being a little free with it. You get to just kind of play in your project. And I think that's a blast. That's when I am the happiest, especially when it's not about everything being perfect. You know, it's not that kind of game. You're gonna sand and you're gonna do all those stuff to blend and make everything great. You can kind of just, I mean, really, you can just play in it. It's super fun. And layering the palette stuff, the palette knifing colors over top of each other is going to give some cool effect when we sand. If I could bubble over this, it would be so cool. There we go. Ha! Okay. Pull some here. And then I want just a little bit of the dark brown, which this is not really dark, but it's the darkest I have out. And I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this light in there too. We're gonna kind of see what happens. Yes, look at that. So cool. Okay. All right. So my stuff's not perfectly straight. Sometimes I care about that. Today I'm just letting it happen. It's just kind of exciting to be in this place with it. Okay. All right. This is kind of ugly, but it looks about right. And we're supposed to, if you've been following us for a while here at StudioR12, we have a saying, and that is paint it till it's pretty. So that's what we're doing today. We are making this bit of a mess, and we're gonna just keep painting it until it's pretty. I'm gonna turn my blow dryer here on, guys. This is a really good opportunity while you're not trying to listen, to hop on the comments, say hey to Noelle, and to remember to enter our giveaways by liking, commenting, and sharing this video. You can win one of our 3 brush sets, or you could be the grand prize winner of our grand prize that I'll announce at the end of the video. Lost it. Those tumblers are my favorite. So I didn't dry that super true because I'm gonna do a little bit of like wet sand. So I just wanted it kind of tacky. I'm gonna stay away from over there for a minute. And here we go. Look how pretty. I just want to remind you, pressure strips paint, right? Light-handed is gonna just buff and blend. And then the more pressure, the more paint you're gonna pull off, okay? I'm gonna be pulling off a lot of paint today, sorry. So I'm gonna be using a lot of pressure, really leaning into my board, and I have a rough grit sandpaper here, okay? This I believe is a 60, not a 120, what am I saying? This is a 60 grit, okay? Be careful where you touch. My board's still a little bit wet. Woo! Hold on to your boards. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm right-handed, so I like to switch my board around so I'm working not across myself, right? If you're left-handed or if you just like to work across yourself, whatever works for you, that's what's important. Put my sleeve up in case my paint's wet over there. Excuse me while I start sweating. Ooh. All right, look how pretty that side is turning out. So good. Okay. Woo. Nice. Yes, I'm loving this. Now, okay. I'm starting to V, so I want to be sure I keep my line straight. You do not have to make these awful faces when you sand, but I find that they help. So pretty. All right. Now, look how pretty that is. You could leave this here, or if you were like, maybe that's too rough for me, you could take another foam brush and just like a little bit of white paint. Or if you like the warm it up, the cream would be great. Barely coat your foam. And you could do that. Which is probably what I did. I love distressing techniques, and I love things that are like rustic like this. So gorgeous. Also, this, if I keep my paint line straight here, paint is your best friend, it's your best eraser. So if you just use it, I can kind of straighten up those accidentally V'd lines I made with my sander. Okay, and then if you've got big strokes like this, just wet sand it to blend it down. You don't have to let it dry. I love it. Gorgeous. Okay, and all we did was use 4 colors here. I mixed these two, so I don't know, 4 or 5 colors and a palette knife. All right, super exciting. Now, I'm going to talk to you about how to stencil. Our clock stencils are amazing, just because I'm gonna just talk to you about them for a minute. They're awesome. They are super special, super fabulous, and the numbers are all in the right spot. When you order the surface from us, we pre-drill the hole, so even your clockworks will fit in the right spot. Perfect. I just don't have enough good things to say about our clockwork stencils. They're some of my favorite, just because they're so cool. They're unique, right? So you can find these on StudioR12.com, along with everything else I've used here today is on our website. And if you looked for, usually it's a pinned comment. If you check for that, Noelle has put that on there for you, and it will take you to a page on our website that has a link to everything I've used here today. Even the stuff we're giving away, from these brush packs to the stencil to the surface. And it should have both surfaces on there because, again, this surface that I have here has the slats, which are gorgeous. I love the slats. I almost wish I would have had the slat when I did that one, but I didn't. Now we do. So I decided to do the new one with the slats. All right, so taping these is funny because square surface, round board. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I line it up. I put my hand here. I put my hand underneath. Make sure I didn't move it, which I did. Nope. Sorry, that was an awful sound I made too. All right. If you're really enjoying this clock project, or if you want to make one for your home, let us know in the comments. And also, if you're commenting, you might as well like it and share it, because that's going to get you entered to win our giveaways, okay? All right, so now I've got a hand on both sides, and we're going to flip it like a pancake. Okay? Put my tape down. I'm going to slide my hand out from underneath without moving my stencil, and I did. This is really not that hard. I'm just struggling with it today for some reason. It's super, actually pretty easy. All right. There we go. Woo! And we're done. Then I take it, I'm going to try and get it here so you can see. And I fold it down to the edge. And then I braid it to the stencil. Really good. I'm going to do all four corners when I have surfaces like this. So down on the back, braid to the edge of the board, and then onto the stencil. So what you don't want is this kind of gap that's underneath. Or what I don't want, I guess it's a personal preference. I feel that they're more secure if it follows like a waterfall, right? Instead of a slide. Okay. Do you guys like backgrounds like the one we did? Do you like things like this? Fun backgrounds. I love. Well, I'm calling them fun. That was a leading question, wasn't it? Do you like backgrounds that have a lot of like distressing technique that you can kind of mess in and play in? Do you like that? Or are you like, that's not me, girl? I'm curious. I always like to hear from you guys. Like to know what you like. So tell us what you like. Okay, if you are new to our channel or you're new to stenciling, be sure to say hey. We love to meet new people. And I'm going to grab... That one's really, I think, too blue. That's too dark. No, it's this one. No, it's not. I don't know. It's a gray. I'm struggling, guys. I bet it's this one I already have out. Okay, we're going to go with this one I already have out. So if you're new to our page or to stenciling, I'm going to show you what I like to think of as a pretty tried and true process to painting your stencil without bleeding underneath, okay? The first thing you're going to need, I recommend dome brush. You want a dome brush. We sell these on our website. They're great. I'm giving away 3 packs of them today. Like and share, comment to be entered to win those. Okay? First thing you're going to need, and I'm going to plop in my paint. I'm going to make a big mess on my brush. I wish I wouldn't have made that big of a mess, but that's okay. Then I'm going to lay it on there, and I'm going to twist my bristles. And that time I had to kind of go back because I had a glob here on this side as well. Usually I don't. But I wiped off all the way, okay? So there's no glob of paint, but it's still pretty glossy to the eye. So I'm going to come here and just move my brush around on my paper towel till I get that kind of dusty color right there. Once I have that, I'm good to go. And this is too light. It was the darker, and I was right initially. Always follow your first instinct, guys. That's okay. We're going to just go with it. All right. And then we swirl. That's what I usually tell people. It's the most comfortable thing for me. Now we know that there are other ways to stencil, like stippling, and stippling definitely has its place, like here on this banding. And you could stipple this if you wanted to, but I would warn you on things like lettering, stippling can make you more prone to bleeding. So just be cautious. Stippling requires a much more loaded brush. So for letters and things like that that you want nice and crisp, just be careful. Just be careful. Okay. What's the weather like where you guys are? I'm curious. Or where are you from? Ooh, that's a fun question. Be sure you tell Noelle where you're from in the comments. She loves that. And if you remember, if you are, if you've been here since the beginning, you heard me say, if you guys are being really great and active in our comment section, a lot of times Patty has to hop on and help Noelle answer. So you might be talking to Noelle or Patty. So say hi to both of them. Okay, super exciting. Love. All right. And see, we have a hard time peeking with this because I've taped it down on all the corners. That's okay. I'm gonna grab that darker gray that was in my heart to use and I talked myself out of. And I'm gonna grab a new brush. Now, yeah, this will be fine, okay? Make a mess. Put my paper towel. You want kind of a clean surface to work on so you can see what's coming off your brush, okay? You could stipple these lines. I'm gonna swirl them. They're not moving around as much as I thought they would, as much as lines often do. They're actually behaving really well today. So I'm just gonna kind of let that happen. Super great. All right, one light dusting, and if you can see that right there, that's one coat and it looks great. So especially for something rustic like this, if you can see on the original, I kind of let my letters be see-through, so I didn't do lots of coats or anything like that. I am gonna have to do a coat over this market because I did it in the wrong color, but that's really not gonna hurt us. It'll be all right. You can just dust over them. And because I used such light paint on my brush, the stuff I painted is already dry, okay? So you'll know you're doing it right when in a minute, like less than a minute, your work is dry and ready for a second coat, okay? That's when you know you're doing it right. Okay. Here we go, here we go. All right, 2 letters left. 2 letters left, and then we're gonna find out what the grand prize is. And then it will be see you guys next week. So if you haven't liked, commented, or shared yet, be sure you do. All right, I think that looks fantastic. Now we're gonna peel it up. I did do, when Patty prepped this for me, she did do a heavier coat on the banding than I did here on just my one, but that's okay. So I would probably, you know, if I peeled this up and looked, I'd do a second coat here, but I'm not going to today because I think we're getting close to time. So I'm gonna show you this finished stencil, and then we're gonna announce our giveaway. Here you go. If you like this project, if you liked the background, give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts, let us know you enjoyed it. We love hearing from you guys. And I have 2 stencils to give away today that I'm really excited about. So if you saw the pumpkin door hanger stencil, we are giving you the buffalo check from the pumpkin door hanger. This is the one I used, not the exact one, but the stencil number that I used for that project. So if you didn't already buy this, you could win it today. I use buffalo check for so many things here at StudioR12 when I'm painting. So this is a really great piece to have. I also have for you Lemon Farms, fresh and sweet, so cute. That lemon trend was such a big deal this year, and it's not going anywhere for next year. So this is one you're gonna want as well. So be sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing so you can be entered to win these 2 stencils. And I believe that Noelle is announcing our winners this week for the brushes in the comments, so be sure you check that to see if you won. All right, thanks guys for joining, and I hope to see you next week.